All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Welcome. Back to the streams. Agua. Yeah. Some of Doc's streams with the only up game is just hilarious this week. Yeah, Chef threads. We'll see. That's why Meta went crazy yesterday, right? Meta went wild. The new Threads app. So we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, why not? Give it a shot, you know? I think there was 10 million signups. Chris, you posted that? So a lot of signups. So we'll see. Kurt, thank you, brother. Kurt King, $10 donation. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Nice and early. You got it. Yeah, the ES SPY gap fill, man. It's an interesting day. You had some strong individual stocks, but the overall futures were not very strong at all. So I was pretty short biased all day yesterday. For better, for worse, I made money. I made money on the AMD short, which was very nice. That was straight from the live stream, that 4-hour break and retest. That worked out beautifully. And the futures never really gave me a reason to be bullish. Now, there was some very strong names in the morning right off the open, which was pretty hard to catch. So yesterday was a weird day, right? You had Nvidia vertical off open. You had Meta vertical off open. Tesla was pretty weak. You had, AMD weakness. Microsoft was okay. So you had a few really strong names, and then just the rest was just sort of dead. So I didn't catch Nvidia Meta. I don't usually catch straight up moves off open. That's not really my style. If you caught that, well done. But the futures never showed strength yesterday. So I really could never get myself to play upside. We were always below the major supply we talked about on the SPY, on the QQQ, on the ES, on the NASDAQ. We stayed below those double top highs, and we rejected them again this morning. So futures not in a good spot, in my opinion, for bullish action. I think we do need to see some more pullback just because of this double top that has been forming. So that's my feeling right now. Obviously, I have to trade on what I see and not think too deep into that. But I am playing protective on the upside. I'm definitely being a little bit cautious of trading upside here. I was yesterday. I probably will be again today. If Meta just rallies, right? For example, Meta just rallied without the market yesterday. And I, as a trader who I am, I know what kind of trader I am. I will very rarely, if ever, catch a stock that is going straight up without the market. That is just simply not how I trade. The way I trade, it has to correlate with what the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 is doing. All right, that I know about myself. So I'm not, if you missed Meta yesterday, if you trade with the futures, if the futures are a way to, confirm your trade idea, then don't be upset that you missed Meta yesterday, because then futures never really gave you that insight, or never really gave you an entry, right? The SPY yesterday was just straight up after the open. So that was my day yesterday. Short on AMD, stayed in it because it showed relative weakness all day, and really nice trade. So we'll review, that trade. We'll review some other stuff that's setting up. Scattered Pieces Podcast. Shout out to you, Vincent. Appreciate you. How important is to track your trades, mistakes, and knowing your numbers? I think it's absolutely crucial, man. You got to know what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, how many trades you're taking, what kind of trades you're taking. To me, I've gotten to the point where I still do track my trades. I don't really analyze so much because it's pretty much repetitive for me now, right? Same thing every day, same type of mindset. But when you're starting out trading, you gotta be able to remember your trade somehow, right? You can't just trade on a Wednesday and then next week you forgot what you did. I would really think I think it's very important to be able to go back and see what trades you took and to learn from them. It's sort of that due diligence phase. I think it's very important. All right, 8:05, 8:06. Let's get started. Welcome back, guys. If you could, right, real quick, like button. We got 1,000 people in here, 200 likes. Let's see if we can get that ratio a little bit better, right? We always want a good ratio. So, economic earnings calendar. Let's go ahead and pull up that economic. Nothing on the earnings calendar, but let's pull up the economic calendar, see what we got today. The SPY is, as of right now, filling that gap, right? We are in the gap fill on the SPY as we speak. Today is Thursday. It's already Thursday, man. Crazy. Thursday, jobless claims 8:30, ADP employment 8:15, job openings 10 o'clock, PMI 9:45. This is not in chronological order. And then ISM services. So today, we'll just see what happens at 8:30, really, on the stream. We'll see what happens at jobless claims, what happens at the trade deficit, and we'll see if there's any movement off that. Usually, jobless claims doesn't do the most, but we'll see if there's anything there. All right? Tesla 280, again, big level to watch. I watched it all day yesterday. I'm going to be watching it again today. We find ourselves back at 420 on Nvidia. We talked about 420 yesterday. It literally went straight up at open off this level, and we're right back at it today. Are we under it now? Let me see. Nvidia is... No, it's still above 420. So, big level there on Nvidia. AMD, that 4-hour retest, that was huge. That was an awesome trade yesterday. We'll talk about it. We talked about this one on the stream yesterday. This set up beautifully. Meta, big squeeze. We'll talk about some levels there. Apple 190, Netflix clear double top, and Microsoft. Microsoft sort of flipped bullish in my eyes yesterday. I'll show you guys the levels and why I think that. So most important today is the ES gap fill, man. The ES gap fill is very interesting, and it's definitely something to be paying attention to today. I think a big opportunity here. So let's get started. Here is the S&P 500. Let's start with the ES. You know what? Do we want to start with the ES futures? Yes, we do want to start with the ES futures. So when I look at this chart, right, my initial thought is we need to pull back, right? This is my initial thought. The reason for this is because you have typically, right, in the recent trend, right, this is a little bit of a change. And these are the things that you have to, in my eyes, you have to pick up on as a trader. Because this is a change in trend right now. We did not double top like this anywhere really along this ride to the upside. A little bit here, right? A little bit of a pullback here, but look at what this double top caused. It caused the pullback, right? It caused the pullback of about 1.5%. So we have, on this run to the upside, as of recent, since like late May, early June, we have not really seen a legitimate double top along this ride. This is the first time, right, in my eyes, you're seeing a pretty difficult double top. And it's right here at 4,500 on the ES, which is a pretty heavy level. Obviously, it's a psych level. And you can clearly see the rejection here back. This is back on the 16th of June. You saw a pretty nasty downside off this level, right around 2.5%. You came right back into it. You saw a rejection, right? And you're starting to see downside again. Right, so this is a very clear change in character, as SGT saying. Yes, smart money. It's something you have to pay attention to, right? You got to pay attention to the changing character of the market. This is a little bit of a change, right? We have not seen this type of double top sort of stall here at a key level. So very important. Definitely a watch, without a doubt. Definitely a watch, and you're starting to see some downside come in. So I think you should be back here at 44.30, right? That's my ultimate target for potential longs, right? I'm still not bearish on the market, like, oh my God, we're going to new lows. But, this is definitely clear to me. I'm not going too long into this level. I talked about that all day on the stream yesterday, and it was the right thing, right? We're not going too long into a double top rejection point. It's just simply not something that I will do. Even if the market is rallying to the upside, even if we're sitting right at it, I'm not going too long at this level. It doesn't make sense when you think about supply and demand, right? So the longs into double top supply clearly did not work, right? You're starting to see some downside, and you are now entering a gap here on the ES. There is a gap down to 44.30, right? Cup and handle, sure, but where do we need to pull back to? I'm not saying this is, end of the world bearish. I'm just saying that I think you need to at least see a gap fill. You need to see us pull back to some clean level to find more buyers here on the ES, right? I think the clean level today, I think we could see this 44.30 come in, right? 44.30, come back down to this 20 SMA, which will catch up to price action, and then you could see the longs again off 44.30. That's sort of what I think is healthy for the market, right? I think you come back down to this high here. You come back down to this rejection, this rejection, this rejection, these rejections, right? You come back down, you retest it, and then you see if we could long again off that level, all right? So that's sort of my mindset, right? I still am not interested in longs here above, under this 4,500 level. Here's the 5-minute chart. This was a very key 44.60 level that you can see once we broke this morning, we slipped. And what did the ES do this morning that is pretty bearish in my eyes? This is yesterday's lows, right? Look at the pre-market rejections this morning, right? Look at the pre-market rejections at yesterday's lows. That is very key, right? This 44.68 level, yesterday's lows. This was the pre-market rejection level, 44.68. So today, what I will be looking at on the ES is 44.60. We just broke it here in the pre-market. I will look to see if we stay below it. 44.60 is this low here. It's this high here. This is the exact level we had on our charts yesterday. If we stay below 44.60, then I think you can have that downside into this 44.30. This area is a gap, right? And if I turn off the after hours trading, you will see that. So I'm going to turn that off, and you can see right here on the futures, right? Under 44.60, really the gap starts at 44.64, but you have a gap here until around, you know what? I'm going to put a little line here just so I know. The gap fill ends at 44.38. 44.38 is, I'm going to actually name this gap fill level, right? And then show it on the right. So this would be your gap fill level, right? You can see the ES gap here. This is from the Friday after out, Friday pre-market. You had a big upside gap, and then you have this 44.38 is where that gap fills. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn back on the extended hours trading, and you can see that that is, you know, just about, what is that? It's about 10 points lower. No, a little bit more. That's like 15 points lower. So 17, whatever it is. So I think there's potential there, right? I think it's a healthy potential pullback. Obviously, we'll have to see what the intraday looks like. 44.60 is going to be your key, right? Do you stay under 44.60? And do you stay under, I'm actually going to turn this red. And I'm going to close it to 44.58. There we go. So I want to see us, you know what? I'm actually going to push this here. I want to see us stay under this pre-market low to continue to look short, right? If we bounce and get back above this pre-market low, then I'm not that interested in shorts anymore. If I see us stay below this pre-market low here, right, that would give me that interest in the downside continuation. Under 44.62, under 44.68, right? As long as we're under this little pre-market low, I think you have that gap fill target potential, all right? So your gap fill target is down here around this 44.38. You guys can see right there, 44.38. That's your gap fill right there. If you stay below pre-market lows, I think you could see that. We just got the ADP employment. Not much movement off of it. Just keep me updated if you see anything. Let's go to SPY. So SPY, this is where you're really going to see the gap fill here. Really, you can see the gaps on the SPY better. You can see right here, right, guys? So I know it's a little difficult, but this is your gap right here. Under 441.10. You have a gap until around 438. 438.50, right in that area. This is your gap right here. This is sort of that target that I've been looking at today, right? So 441.11, if we go to the 30-minute chart, you can see right here, we have flushed that gap fill level, right? That's 441.11. You flushed it this morning in the pre-market. You do not have any type of support really until this 438, right? Right until here. Everything here, right? Everything here is all pre-market gap up, right? This is all pre-market gap up here. You do not have any support here. There is a gap here until 438, 438.50, 438. So you're in it, right? You're in that gap fill. What would you look for today? As long as the ES is below the gap start, which is 441.11, I think you continue to look for downside, right? As long as the ES is below this 441.11, below this gap fill, the start of the gap fill, I think you can look for downside. If you get back above it, right, if you start to hold it, right, then the story changes, right? Then the story changes. So I would be keeping an eye on around this 441, 441.11. How I got that 441.11 level, all I did was I zoomed in here on the daily chart, and you can see the bottom of this last candle, right? So the bottom of this candle here is 441.11, right, to the point, right, 441.11, the bottom of this candle right here. So that's where the gap starts. That's the level you need to stay below if you want to see more downside today. 441.11. Keep an eye on that SPY level into that 438. All right. NQ 15,250, right? We talked about this level yesterday. We said if the NASDAQ can hold 15,250, you could see upside. That's pretty much what you saw yesterday. Hold the 15,250, vertical upside. But where did the upside stop, right? And this is why I told, this is what I said on the live stream. Do not marry the longs here. into the double top supply, right? You can see double top right there. Look at where we rejected yesterday. Clear as day. I mean, clear as day. Really, right? This goes exactly back to what it's crazy. I mean, I vividly remember what we said, right? If you were long here, right, and the market tanked, it's manipulation, right? It's manipulated. The stock market's manipulated. The market just tanked right here. Why did it tank? I have no idea. It's manipulated. No, it's just a double top supply. It's very clear. This is the thing about trading, which is such a funny thing about trading, because I'm not saying it's very difficult to trade, right? And when the human brain has to make real-time decisions as the market trades, it is very difficult, right? That's the most difficult part. It's your mind. It's making real-time decisions, taking all the data that you have and making the proper decision. But right, when you relook at something like this, it's like, it's not hard. It's not hard, right? We just rejected the same point we rejected, right here. Double top, look at the rejection again, right? Just an easy short right off that level, and I would have made a ton of money. It's that real-time decision-making that makes trading difficult. But when you look back at this, right, it's really just really simple, rudimentary concepts. There's really nothing difficult about, looking at where these candles on my computer screen have rejected previously and doing the same thing over again. It's really a rudimentary concept. But the reason it's so difficult is because of emotions, real-time decisions, right? Being scared of losing, right? All those things in our head make trading difficult, right? That's the difficult part. But when we look at this, it's a quite rudimentary concept. So that's what's so fun about trading, right? That's the interesting thing about trading. It definitely keeps you engaged. That's for sure. But either way, 15,250, right? You can see that's a key level. That is what it's trying to hold right now, the NASDAQ. That is going to be major today. Do we hold this previous day low at 15,250? I think if you lose this 15,250 level, I think you can see more downside. The next level I would be watching is around this 15.2, right? You can see there's a little bit of action here at 15.2. So I would watch that 15.250 into 15.2. And then under 15.2, I think you come back into this 150. So really, it's like every 50 points, it looks like the NASDAQ has a little bit of action, right? So if I look at this, right, why do I have every 50 points? 50 points, you can see right here, 150. These are all 150 rejections. You can see some 200 rejections. So I think you just watch every 50 points here on the downside on NQ until you reach that 20 SMA. So 15,250, 15.2, and 15,150 all look to have some reactions at them in the past. So I would keep an eye on that. You did break this uptrend here on the NQ. You can see that this morning. You actually can see we rejected the uptrend, right? We got below it, rejected it, and starting to move lower. So 15,250, 15.2, and 15,150. Those are your three levels today to the downside. I would just watch if we start to approach each level, just keep an eye on how we react, right? If you get downside, be careful of how we react here. If we get downside, be careful of how we react here, all right? Those are the three levels I would have on your screen today. QQQ, 368. That's the big one, 368. So if I go to the hourly chart here, again, very rudimentary concepts. Why did the QQQ reject? It's the same level it rejected previously. And you can see it again there. Now, the big level in my eyes is this 368, right? Under 368, I think you can come down into this 366 area. So I'm going to put this here. All right, so 368, you can see was very important here. You can see it was yesterday's lows, and you are sitting right at it again today. All right, so if you're under 368, then I would look for the downside continuation into 366 and into 365. 366 is this double top, and 365 is these previous highs. That's the same concept of every 50 points on the NQ futures. So 368, 366, 365, those are your levels to watch on the Qs. Watch everything. Yeah, I mean, it could It could, Wallace. There's absolutely nothing stopping the market from doing something no one expects or doing something crazy. If the QQQ regains 368 today, right, these short ideas are no longer valid. Right? You need to understand that. If the QQQ starts to build a strong demand at yesterday's lows, short ideas are not that valid, right? So you have to be able to react. This is why, this is the difference between a trader and then someone that's just stuck on a single idea, right? A trader will come into the day, they'll know their 368 level. If they see weakness under it, they'll look to trade the downside. If they see strength above it, they will look to trade the upside, regardless of what they want to happen. So you have to be able to react to these levels. If you hold 368 today, there is nothing stopping the QQQ from doing a little dance here and trying upside again. There's nothing stopping it. So 368 is your main watch on the Qs there. Dow Jones, How do I get rid of the line so quick? I pressed in the middle scroll button. Right here. You press that in to pull up this menu. You guys see this menu popping up? That's me pressing in the middle scroll button. Then I press the clicker, I press on the line, and I press delete. So I have my hand like right here as a claw on the delete button. My finger is on the delete button right now, and I just go middle button on the mouse, click it, delete it. Control Z to bring it back. So Dow, nice little rejection there in the Dow, huh? Can't say that was not clean, right? Look at that. So you can see right there, it's like a quadruple top here at 34.6. Rejection, 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 34.6. I still think the Dow is sort of in no man's land, man. I don't like what the Dow is doing. I don't like anything about the Dow. I've talked about it being in no man's land previously. I don't really, it's been sideways all year, to be quite honest. It's been sideways all year. The Dow has not had any return, pretty much. Since the beginning of this year, this is the beginning of this year. This is January 1st. Let's just take a random number here. You're basically flat. You are basically flat on the entire year on the Dow. Maybe you can look for downside continuation here today on 34.6, right, for some more downside, but I would not be surprised if Dow just sort of chops sideways. It has been for the entire year, and it probably will continue. So 34.6, just watch those supply rejections. Pretty clean up there. I wouldn't be long the Dow up there. Very clean Russell rejection. Holy shit. Look at that. So let's delete these EMAs or SMAs because they're sort of irrelevant. Look at that, right? Very clear. Clear as day. So previous lows, right? Previous lows. Highs, highs. Very easy. Previous lows, rejection, rejection, double top at previous lows. Not bullish, right? Have to be careful there. Your next level really is 1840. 1840 to 1920, there's your channel, right? And I would say if the downside continues, you're going to be looking at 1840 here again. And that's where you have to be careful if you are short, right? If you're short, right, off the 1920, your goal is to push it down into 1840 and take profits. Your goal is to not see new lows on the Russell. So 1840 channel low, that's where I would watch for demand. And watch the 1920 supply. Just a clear channel that's being respected. All right, Tesla. So I am very interested in the gap fill on Tesla. I did hold some puts yesterday over from Monday. I took a really nice short on Monday, locked in about $1,000 profit. I did give back about $400 of that yesterday, holding into yesterday. So unfortunate. I did close it because I just wanted to take my profits. I did give back some profits, but that's all right. All right, it was all part of the plan. I was willing to risk some profits there, looking for that gap fill. I still think Tesla's heavy up here, right? It did look pretty strong end of day yesterday into this 284, but I still sort of feel like Tesla's a little heavy. It's getting a little tired around this 280, 284. I would need to see Tesla, really hold above 284 before going long again here. You can see the double top that is formed right here and right here, right? I don't really want to long into this Tesla double top at 284. Not really that interesting to me. So 280 almost looks like that equilibrium. I have trouble saying that word. But 280 almost looks like sort of middle of the road, middle of the seesaw here. And you have, both the 50% pushes, the standard deviations here. Here's your first standard deviations on Tesla. Here's your 0%, right? And what's the first one? Like 23.6 or something. Is standard deviations aligned with the Fibonacci's? I've actually been wondering that. Standard deviation percentages. Hold on. I'm sure you guys can answer this, but I'm going to look it up. 34.13. No, it's not the same as Fibonacci's. Is it? No, it's not. Yeah, it's 34.1, 13. Yeah, it's every. Here, I'll pull it up. This is standard deviation. But basically what I'm talking about here is like the standard deviation when it's not mathematically correct, but you get the point, right? 280 is sort of the middle of the standard deviation when I think about this. And then you have your first standard deviation -1 +1 is really what it is. It's not really, you just think -1 +1. So for me, right, this is +1, this is -1. When I think of this is sort of how, this is where my mind goes to as I guess as a math guy. I'm thinking +1, right, -1 here. That's sort of my mindset. So I would watch 280, right? See what the reaction is at it's a bell. Yeah, I guess it's a bell curve, standard deviation, whatever the hell it's called, man. Whatever it is. If you see what happens at 280, and then look to see if you get the 284 move or if you get the 276 move, right? Those are the two moves I'd be looking for. And if you break 276, right, we have to keep this in mind. If you break the 276, that is your gap area, right? Under, let's call it 275, actually. Let's be safe and call it 275. Under 275, you have your gap here on the chart on Tesla. So if I zoom in here, you guys can see the low of this candle is 275.11. All right, so I'm actually going to put 275.11. The low of this candle is 275.11 on Tesla, and under that, you have the gap, right? That's your gap under there, all right? So that's a big watch for me, 275.11. Jobless claims, let's see what the reaction is. It looks like we're just sort of melting out here still on the ES. Let's go SPY real quick. Jobless claims. My nails. My nails are long right now. But yeah, I don't bite my nails. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Tanya. My nails grow fast and I don't bite them because I think it's absolutely disgusting. Jobless claims, 248 versus 245. It's pretty much in line. Jobless claims are just getting boring at this point. So really nothing to report there. Downside coming in, that's really the only thing to report. More downside coming in here in this gap fill on the SPY. All right, so let's go to Nvidia. 420. 420, man. We're back at it. We talked about it yesterday. We said how it could hold as a demand, right here. It did very nicely. But here's sort of what I want to talk about. I know we don't have much time to talk about this stuff. But, real quick, yes, there was a potential little bull flag here, right, on Nvidia that you could have sort of, rode higher yesterday. Very, very possible entry point there. Here's the problem for me, right? When I see this, I do not like to get involved. It's just something I don't like to do. So me as a trader, I understand this, right? I understand this. It's just my personality, right? It's just my personality. I don't like chasing moves right out of the open. I don't like getting involved in stocks that just do this off the open. I will very rarely go into this, for a secondary move without any type of significant pullback. So that's sort of what happened to me yesterday. Nvidia straight up, Meta the same exact thing, right? Just vertical, a little bit of a pullback, but just since that 290 break, just vertical. We'll talk about that one. But Nvidia, very nice yesterday, and we can see today we did get the push, but look at what happened. We gave the entire move back, and we are back at 420. So today's all about 420. That's what it's all about. You got to see what happens at this 420 level. 428 looks like some pretty heavy supply up here. You guys can see right here, previous rejections, double top rejection there. So 428 to 420. If you break this 420 level, let me go 5 minute. If you break this 418.50, 420 zone, I really think there could be some downside here on Nvidia. So I will definitely be watching it. Previous lows, 418.50. Previous lows, 418.50. Previous highs, 418.50. The real level is 418.50. I think 420 will have some type of, say. There will be some type of reaction at that level. But the real bottom here is 418.50. So just make sure you're aware of that. Make sure you don't go too aggressive on the shorts until 418.50 breaks, right? Keep an eye on that, all right? 418.50. Very important here on Nvidia today. You break that, I think you could see some downside. Again, right? You have to make sure you understand there is demand there, right? You have to understand this. You can't just go short, right off open and think that Nvidia is going to break down. Because if you go short off open, you know what's going to happen. You're going to drop a little bit, and it's going to pop off 420 again. You don't want that. So wait for that 418.50 to break. Wait for it to solidify, an entry point, and then look for that short there. But that 420 hold could very well come in again. So be aware of that. AMD, I actually am swing trading a little bit of AMD puts. If you guys are in the chat, congratulations on this trade. This was absolutely killer yesterday. We traded this one live. It was an interesting one, but it was just right from the get-go. So the get-go. The get-go. So AMD, why did we look for shorts yesterday on AMD? Right? We were looking at the previous 4-hour supply lows and the very clear break and retest, right? Break, retest, rejection, right? That was exactly what we were looking at on AMD. We talked about this in the live stream yesterday. This was textbook stuff. So you move back into, on low volume, look at the volume. It's decreasing, right? Decreasing volume as you move higher into the previous lows, break and retest, supply rejection, absolutely textbook stuff. Why did I go short yesterday? What caused me to get my entry? I actually have this trade recorded live, and I possibly will post it tonight. The reason I took the short is because this 20 SMA rejection came in really nasty. So I just knew as soon as I saw that 20 SMA rejection come in, I said, I'm going short and I'm risking the 20 SMA. It's as simple as that, right? I'm going short, right? At that point, that trade yesterday on AMD, I didn't even have control of my thoughts, right? I wasn't controlling my fingers at that point. At that point, it's just execution time. And if you see 20 SMA reject, if you know your supplies on your screen, right? I'm watching the chart like this on the 2-minute chart, and all I'm staring at is huge 20 SMA rejection and a break back below my supply. At that point, if I'm not taking this trade, there is a serious case of, being scared, a serious case of just being emotional and being scared to lose money, right? That's all it is. When I saw that, I just said, I'm taking this trade, right? It's time to take the trade. It's time to execute 20 SMA rejection, right? Supply rejection as well at that 4-hour rejection zone. And I took this entry. Had to be real patient on it, right? Because the market was pretty strong yesterday in the morning, but AMD just underperformed all day. And you can see we're getting further downside under 113, right? Hourly chart, you guys can see right here, this 113 is very important today. So, right there, little 113, this is around this 112.50, 113, and look at the break we're under today, right? Look at the break that we're under 113 today. So if AMD stays under 113, right, then I would look for continuation to the downside, right? That's the 20 SMA, B. Richardson. 20 SMA on the daily chart. This is definitely, I would highly recommend you have daily SMAs on your chart when you trade, guys. Absolutely 100% recommend it. They absolutely react to these levels. Because, like, for example, Google, look at the 20 SMA on Google yesterday. Look at that rejection. Look at the 50 SMA hold on Google down here, right? You need to have these levels on your chart. So AMD, just an absolutely textbook sexual 117 20 SMA rejection. Look at how clean that wick is right there. So really nice stuff. Holding some swings and should be looking good this morning. So watching this 113, as long as we're under that, I think you could see more here. Let me try to see if I like an actual target. Probably these previous lows right here around this 110, right? This 110 would be your extreme target here. 110, this low right here. That's what I would look for. All right, really nice stuff. Add those SMAs. Daily SMA, it's called. Daily SMA. Daily SMA. And put the 20, 50, 100, and 200. That's what I have. All right, Meta. What a monster. So Meta just pretty much vertical over 290 yesterday. Pretty nice stuff. And congratulations to anyone that caught it. Here's the problem for me, right? What do I look for on this type of trade? What do I look for on a trade like this? This is exactly what I was hoping for yesterday. And sometimes you just simply don't get it, right? I wanted this. I wanted a break of 290, right? I wanted a break of 290, a little bit of weakness, a little pullback, and then bam, entry right here. That's my type of trade, right? Bull flag it, right? Flag that thing off 290, 290 hold, break and retest, get some nice longs here, and then look for that upside continuation. That was not in the picture, right? That was not in the picture yesterday. The picture was straight up over 290, squeeze the hell out of it, and get left behind. That's really what happened. Why won't they? Maybe, probably, Chef. They should be there. Daily SMA, you just got to save it. Save it as a set. I have mine saved as sets. So right here, daily SMA is a set. So I can just change. If you guys don't know about sets, you need to learn about sets too. Maybe I need to make a TOS tutorial. So 290, huge squeeze over it. Really big continuation. Today, I would just watch this 294, right? I would just watch this 294 right there. 294. Right, 294. You can clearly see there's some reaction there. You got this little flag here that broke in the pre-market, right? Pre-market after hours. 294 is your level to watch. So if you get more downside, watch 294. I would not long Meta. I wouldn't long it anywhere besides potentially 294 and 290. These are really the only spots that I would long Meta here comfortably. For down, if we get some downside, this is where I'd start to look for whether Meta holds 294, 290. That's really what I want to see, right? It feels good, right? As a trader, this might help you guys as well. You want value, right? You want value for the money that you put out there, right? You want value. That's how I think about trading. I want value for my trades. I'm not scared that Meta just goes right back to the upside today. That doesn't matter to me. I want my value, and my value, right, is a more deeper pullback to 294, or I think I have even more value on a deeper pullback to 290, right? And this is the only area that I'll allow the market to take my money, right? If the market's going to take my money, I'm going to either lose on a 294 hold or I'm going to lose on a 290 hold. I'm not going to be some guy that comes out here, guns blowing, thinking Meta's going to rally again today and just start longing it at open at some random spot, right? I want to get some value. I want to play it off key levels. I think 294 is a good watch, and I think 290 is a good watch. But we'll have to monitor there. We're not going to just long it at that level. We got to at least see if there's any reaction off that level. If there is, you could look to see the 294 or the 290, right? That's what I'd be watching on Meta today. Apple. Okay, we broke the 190. That's not good for Apple, right? That's not good for Apple. That's where I wanted to see Apple hold today, actually. So my concept, my thesis is a little bit broken here. So I wanted to see Apple stay over 190, And because you would have had a nice little bull flag here, little bull flag break, and if this damn tool would work, hello, bull flag break and retest of 190, but you are breaking under it today. So if you get back above 190 and you start to turn into support, I think this could be a bull flag for more upside. But of course, the market's going to have to correlate with that. As of right now, market is not correlating with that idea, so I would not look for that. If you stay under 190 today on Apple, I think you absolutely can pull back to this 187.50, right? If you hold under 190, right, if you turn this into a supply, which it is right now because we are trading below it, right? If you stay under 190, I think you can see this 187.50, right? That's really your next demand here on Apple. Watch that. The other thing that I want to make sure everyone realizes here on the live stream is how far everything is from their 20 SMA, right? Wow, the ES is tanking. There is so much, so many stocks are extended past their 20. We've talked about this on the live stream yesterday. We said stocks like to come back to their 20 SMAs, right? Look, you have 20 SMA hold, extension, pull back to it. Extension, pull back to it, right? In a trend, it likes to hold these SMAs. And you can see stocks, when they get extended past their 20, they pull back, especially in these trends, right? Look at this extension off the 20 on Apple. Look for that pullback, right? The 20 is going to be your friend here on this trend. Look at it going up the entire way off that 20 SMA. If you simply longed Apple every single time it was at its 20 SMA, you absolutely crushed this stock, right? Look at this. Long it here, long it here, long it here, long it here, long here, long here, long here. So 20 SMA, keep that on your screen. And if you start to get extended past the 20, right, be aware of being long, right? And you can look at the flip that we're seeing here on Google. Google has flipped below its 20 SMA and is now rejecting that 20 SMA. AMD flipped below its 20 SMA and is rejecting its 20 SMA, right? So I think a very key thing to have on your charts and something to be absolutely paying attention to, all right? Netflix, this is a very interesting little play here. Also extended past its 20, right? You can see right there. Look at this double top on Netflix. Look at this potential bear flag. I know Netflix is a monster. It's for you guys. It's for not for the faint of heart. If you guys are out there with some cash flow, willing to take some risk, this Netflix little double top here is very interesting, right? Double top Netflix, potential bear flag right there. And a potential downside maybe into that 430 level, into that 20 SMA. Definitely interesting here today. All right, watch that one. Do I want to go? I don't really like Microsoft. I don't like this idea anymore with what I'm seeing on the market. But Microsoft did technically turn this previous high into support yesterday, this 338 area. This was a previous rejection point at 338. And you guys can see you did turn it into support yesterday. But how much do I trust that? Not really with what I'm seeing on the market. I don't know if I trust that much. So yes, you did turn that 338 into support. But yeah, I don't really like Microsoft on that weakness we're seeing on the market. Yeah, I don't like Microsoft at all, actually. I'm not even going to look at Microsoft. I hate what's going on here. Yeah, Google bear flag again, not a bad look, right? See this Google bear flag? 122, right? 122, 20 SMA rejection. Watch this bear flag break down towards that 116.50. I think that's about all that I got for you here today, guys. Let's go over the futures one more time. And we are surely getting the gap fill, man. We are getting the gap fill. Gap fill into 438. That is pretty much exactly what we have going on here. So watch 44.38. That's your gap fill level on the ES. All right. Once you get there, see what happens. 44.38. You guys can see right there. Watch that gap fill level under that 44.30. All right. NASDAQ is okay. NASDAQ's at 15.2. This is a big watch too. 15.2, 15.250. We talked about these levels. Keep an eye on these levels. All right, guys. I'm going to head out. Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Press that like button if you could before you head out. If you want to get these levels, the technical levels every day, you guys can either join the Discord, the main Discord chat where we trade live every day. That is down in the description. It says trade live with me. Or if you want a cheaper option and you just want charts, you don't want, the You don't want the intraday talking. You don't want, the, bunch of people, and you just want charts, just charts. You want to wake up. This is why I created this other community, or this other Discord, is simply you wake up, you trade by yourself. You like to trade by yourself, and you just maybe want some charts to look at, some analysis in the morning from someone without all the other things going on. Down below, you can see it says get technicals. That's just simply a charting tool, a charting platform where I post every chart that we talk about here in that community. If you want to check it out, feel free. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for enjoying the live stream, supporting the live streams. If you could, press the like button before you head out. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah. Peace out.